Good morning, everybody. 9:15 on a Saturday. It's time to talk through the high time frame alignment. See how we're doing with the high time frame structures. Let's start with ES. Okay. Friday we went right into resistance. We did not clear it. That is okay. Our next target is immediately above. This is a recap of our Friday video, the one that for the daily plan on the low time frame. But when we break this resistance, we will see what type of rally we have. If it's like this type, or if we clear it right off the bat to like right here, then we're going to get shallow pullbacks and start squeezing. Okay, so we don't know which is which, and we don't much care, but we know how to look. Now, what happens if we never clear this first resistance? Then we don't have to worry about longs, right? If we don't clear it, we don't need to worry about longs. We are at resistance. We need to break the resistance to feel that way. But what happens is this turns into a big cup and handle with a breakout right here. And it can either retest, like I said, or it can roll. And you will not get a look back on this whole move. But once this shape resolves, if it resolves to the upside by breaking resistance, we expect a dramatic move regardless. We just have to be careful about the retest. What makes our thesis wrong? We have to lose the breakout candle. I took the box off my chart, but this is the candle that we broke out of and the one that we back tested. You can see, remember I left you steps a couple days ago in the guide where we had to find the higher low on the box. That was a check. If we find the higher low on the box, we can take out the bull targets. That was a check. We have this last one left to determine if our cup and handle comes to fruition. That is what we're looking at. In the bear side of things, if we lose our box, I do not think this will happen, but I'm covering it for completion's sake. We will come down here. We will retest. We will bounce. It will be a weak bounce, most likely, and we will come and we will start testing down here on these older breakout candles. Okay? So you have a way to stay flexible in this. In that you know if we break this resistance, what we're going to do, we're going to turn into a cup and handle, and if we retest down here, we're likely to devolve into a giant range that encompasses all of this, and likely that does not change the high time frame. It just kicks the can down the road a little bit, but that gives you kind of something to trade around with and something to watch for. Okay, Bitcoin, I'm almost certain, 95% sure that the low is in. And I bought calls at Friday at close. I told you about it. And then you're like, oh my gosh, you bought calls here and it's down here. What do? Well, the reason I bought calls right here is because we were close. But if the market's closed for the next 3 days, we're not going to have the opportunity. This price action could be up here by the open on Monday. You know, we can't do anything about what happens after the market closes. We just have to let it do what it does. Now, I'm saddled with these calls. I can't close the position. I can't stop out of them. They're mine now, and I own them. Let me tell you how to manage the Bitcoin position. I'm going to talk about the full position and how to think about it and what to do. So, once again, I'll outline the whole trade. We were long from 65. We trimmed off 74. Why did we trim 74? Because we swept the high. Once 74 was trimmed, I re-added up here. I re-added 70. I think it was 75. I can't recall. You guys had to check the chat. I remember I re-added up here, and I just recently re-added right here. The first add was partials from the initial take profit. The second one was just a new bullet completely. How do we manage this trade? Okay, so I say 74K stop loss. We got really close to that right here. I think it came down to 74.2. Try to give this a little bit of grace right here because this is actually the swing low that needs to break down to eliminate our long bias in the short term. What does an elimination of a long bias look like? If we break down our swing low right here, very good chance we retest our entry. If you want to take a breakdown short, that is up to you. But that does not occur unless we break the swing low. And the chances are, if we break the swing low, we will get a back test entry. It's worth stopping out just so you don't round trip this bag from the initial buy. Okay, but that does not change the high time frame bias. The high time frame bias is up. I'm very convinced of this. It just looks massively clear to me. I don't know what to tell you. If you're nervous about this position, know that we've been doing this for a while. This people who have been with me for years have been through these like where we buy scary red wicks, and we've been doing this for years now. If you're new and you're thinking, should I stop out because it went 500 below my buy, or 1% or 0.5%, welcome. That's okay. That's okay to feel that way. But as you go through these cycles, you'll start to realize what this is all about, and how to define stops, and how to define ads, and why you want to add when it's scary, so you can build in premium, and you can then become the people who welcome the next people who are nervous when they're new. And the cycle continues and it grinds on. Okay, so we have the idea of why we stop out. It's not because it eliminates our bias. It's because we don't want to yeet the bags back out the door that we've already locked down. But we want to be in service of the high time frame bias. So here's the ways to get long if I'm wrong, meaning we stop out. If we stop out, I'm buying down here. If the buy down here doesn't make it doesn't materialize, instead it just does a stop loss hunt and never makes it down there, I will rebuy above 78K right here. Okay, so if we end up just being a mushy middle of the chart area, I will rebuy above 78K. If we come down here, excluding the breakdown short, I will rebuy at 64K. Either way, I am going to get long on Bitcoin. My idea for Bitcoin is that we are going to squeeze soon. I want to take profit at 115 to 125, and then I want to hedge overthrow into the 130s. That is what I'm going to do with Bitcoin, okay? So I have a strategy here to protect my positioning, but this is just positioning on the small time frame for what I believe is a move up. That's the Bitcoin trade. Riot. I bought calls on Friday. I bought calls for the same reason. I need to be right about the Bitcoin trade, okay? So you've been here a minute. You know that we have the complete trade for Riot. There was a long down at 11. There was another long at 16. We trimmed off both of these longs at 24. And I've been sitting in spot Riot. I just added again because I think that this consolidation range is going to resolve to the upside, and I want to be in with that. Now, Bitcoin capitulating to what I think is the entry, I think is a good harbinger for this to play out well. If I am wrong, the reason I get enough time on this is because even if it comes down here to retest, which is a distinct possibility, I need to give myself enough time to ride this back up to where I think it's going to go anyway. Okay, so that means if I am wrong about the consolidation resolving the way it resolves, I need to give myself enough time. I can demonstrate this in the stock that we have, OXY, and exactly what the last time I took a long was. We longed OXY right here at close on Friday 2 weeks ago, and the reason for that is because our risk to reward was so tight, and I knew there was a short entry up here, right? So we took this long, and we gapped up right at open, right? So it never let anybody back in. But remember when I was outlining this trade, I said something very specific. I said if I'm wrong about this long, and it cracks right here at this low, instead of taking 200% on these calls, which I ended up doing, just like I described 2 weeks ago in the OXY video, which you can find in the channel, what will happen is I will ride draw down to support. I will play the back test, and I will sell these calls 5% into profit and cut them instead of 200% into profit, which is what I got with this move. That is why we waited for right here to buy the calls. Now, if I compare that to Bitcoin with what's happening right now, the exact same rules apply. I came down to what I think is very close to the swing low. So I added the first bit of leverage that I've added this since our initial buy, right? I've been adding spot, but I added leverage. I talked about it in terms of calls because I know if this swing low is broken and it capitulates, it will relief bounce back to 76 no matter what. 100% this will hit. Like, no doubt in my mind this will hit, even if we go down more, and I will sell the calls at 5% profit into the relief bounce and get out of there with profit absolutely regardless. I know this. I've done this a million times. I will do it again. And the only thing I need to do is drag you through the mud of not being scared of this process. When we buy calls, it's because the risk to reward is so tight, we are either going to make a little bit or make a lot. My goal is always to make a lot, but I will always get you in at a place that if you have to eat a 30% drawdown, you're going to end up selling at 5% profit. Now, to me, you wouldn't want to eat that much drawdown, but sometimes you can't control it because we took it on Friday. What happens if this happens over the weekend? We can't have no control over this, right? We can't stop out like that. But I do know that within a month, this level will trade. So we will be able to get out unscathed. Let's move along. Mara looks good. Mara's just consolidating. I believe Riot's going to pop before Mara. Mara's looking good, right? So let's talk about why we're moving money the way we are between different trades. So recall, I just called out what the Riot trade was and when we bought, right? So why am I moving Riot to Mara if both have huge upside? Riot right now has run 128% off of its lows, whereas Mara, if we come and check this out, where have we gone? About the same. Okay. I think Mara is stronger than Riot overall, but I think what's going to happen with Riot is it's going to lose a little bit of steam. It's either going to come down and consolidate, and I'm wrong about the calls, or it's going to pop high, but Mara's just going to go a little bit harder, and Riot's going to lead. So anyway, my plan is the same. As soon as I can get out of these calls for Riot, in the upper 30s, which is my plan, I'm going to sock all that money into Mara, because the Mara plan was to buy. There was a buy down here. There was an average up at 12. And once I know that this trend is well and truly on its way, I'm going to add more spot to Mara, because you shouldn't be adding calls into premium, because the premium is just going to get juiced. I know this because my leaps are up like 30% and the price has barely even moved. So you got to be careful with how expensive calls are getting as price starts to show that it's going to move up. It's better to add spot and to add calls when everybody thinks it's garbage, right? That's Riot and Mara. I am still super bullish on alts. I called this out the other day. Nothing has changed here. This is setting up a giant 1-2 right here, where we should be out of there before you know it. The risk to reward here is tight. It does not feel that way, because if you look at the drawdown of the swing low, this is a huge move down. It's like a 20% haircut, and you're like, ugh, right? But that's why alts are smaller, because look at the upside here. The upside is, 100% plus. The downside is 20%. So your risk to reward and your sizing should reflect the fact that how big these moves are between the swing lows and the push highs. So to be wrong, we would have to lose 20%. To be right, we make well over 100%, and you got to size down according to that. I added to AMD like I discussed a couple days ago. I feel like we're going to get a pop in AMD somewhere up here, and that is what I am doing. I'm holding on to AMD for that pop. Remember, my goal is to just put AMD into Mara, the Mara trend, which I think is going to evolve. Just spot. Coin is doing what Bitcoin does. Whatever Bitcoin does, coin is going to do. Okay, and I believe Bitcoin is going to go up, just like I described. Therefore, I believe I think coin's going to go up. I would look for 350 plus on coin. Sounds crazy, but it's just basically a double up, which is exactly what I'm calling for Bitcoin. Anyway, OXY, I'm still waiting on that short entry. We almost ticked it, but we didn't, and we came down. I know a lot of people's calls went into profit big time. That's because OXY doesn't typically move smoothly. So when you get it exactly right, your calls blow up in premium. I remember that one time we hit the short on OXY from up here, and the calls didn't even reprice until a half an hour after open to reflect like the 300% move, which that might happen again if we hit the short up here. But again, I'm not planning on shorting OXY until 62. My stop loss for that short will be 66, and my take profit is all the way down here. I'm going to take this thing down to 48. I do expect a little relief bounce, so I'll trim right there just to protect my stop loss, right? So I do that all the time with leverage. I protect my stop loss. Even if I'm in just, if they have enough shares to borrow, I might not use puts in this. I might just short it like regular. But I'm sure they'll have enough shares. We'll just see what it looks like. But the idea here is protect your stop loss, whether you're leveraged or not, because you want to be in the game as long as possible and take the best R&R trades you can possibly find. Meta, I'm of the belief that we are going to pop right from here. I don't think we need any more retracement. The entry was 600. The goal is 800. And then I do want to gap fill. I'm going to short Meta and Netflix for my drawdown thesis. I don't think that's the market. I don't think that's the market. What do you call it? I don't think the market's going to be setting a high. I think it's going to get frothy and euphoric, but I think it's going to rug pull for a back test on a lot of people, and we're going to hedge out Netflix and Meta when that happens. That means I think Netflix is going to pop here to about 96, and then we are going to short Netflix down to about 78. So we're gonna short Meta and Netflix as the market hedges, and then I'm gonna sell some covered calls on high time frame positions in my IBKR, which is different than my trading portfolio, but I'll walk through that when it's time. MVAX I recently added. I told you about that. I think the upside is about 50. It was trading about 9, so my goal is to, just like I said, I got in at 9. Stop losses at 760, targets 50. Remember, these are all high time frame positions. It doesn't have to move in a straight line, but sometimes you get really lucky and it does. In general, we just try to move in the right direction. You should know that because like our AMD trade, like this we got in literally. It was great. This ad right here at 180 looked bad, right? It went up to 2. Imagine this: you're in this ad and you get in at 180. It goes to 220. And then you go back to 190 and you feel stupid, right? And then what happens? Boom, straight up. Okay? So you don't have to feel bad about riding out consolidation, especially on the high time frame. What I encourage you to do is zoom out. You got to zoom out, guys. But we've really beaten up AMD this year. We got in a first trade, sold off, left it flat for about 6 months, got into a second trade, sold off right here. Recently added just for like a little spike higher. We will close this for the retest, which is probably something like this, where it retests this breakout, and then I'm going to add AMD. I'm going to do the exact same trade again. It's going to be brutal just like this, but positioning is going to be an issue, so we're going to let the consolidation play out. The more information I get, the better I'm going to be. Not there yet to know exactly what it's going to look like. MSTR is just going to track Bitcoin, so we're going to let it do its thing. We are very close. I don't think it's going to sweep this swing low, but it's not. It's right above the 200. There's almost no chance it doesn't bounce here, guys. No chance. It's a very important SMA. I keep a couple SMAs on my charts. It's a daily 50, 100, 200 daily locked, but also this gold one is a 200 week SMA. Super important level. It's going to produce a bounce no matter what. So it could come down here. It could be done now. It doesn't really much matter. It's so close that I don't think it's worth trading this one. Just like I showed you on AMD, what happens if you ride something up here and then you ride it all the way back down to entry? Do you feel stupid, right? Well, that's a question for you, but what we're doing is consolidating on a high time frame. If you're zoomed in like this and you're saying things like, oh my gosh, MSTR's in a downtrend, you've lost the plot. Okay, you've lost the plot for a high time frame trade, which is the only thing I cover on stocks. It's for people who can't check their portfolio every minute, much less every hour. They're working and they're managing it and they're staying on the right side of the trade while they do what they do. So worry not so much, and zoom out a little bit. It's gonna save you some cortisol spikes. All right, guys, I think that's it for now. I think all of our stuff looks good. I have a plan to short. Let's cover the really high time frame on ES. I told you before, I think we're going much higher. I think we're probably heading towards, my guess is higher, like right up to here-ish, but I don't certainly know. I'm going to let the targets on the individual stocks guide my way, and we will keep pushing it higher. I'm not going to short ES until Bitcoin hits the target I think it's going to hit. So I'm going to let the individual stocks in Bitcoin be my guide right now. See how far we can redline this trade. Take care, guys. We will talk to you later.